Hi, this is Storm Ranger Gamer. Welcome to Outriders. So we're going to go over gear and gear mods, so let's dive right in. So first, when you start out, you're probably going to end up with blues, and they're only going to have one mod on them, like this one here. Further on in game, you're going to get up into the purples, and they're going to have two different mods on them. You move along in game through there, you're going to move into some browns and get some real nice setups. One thing I've noticed about the browns, as you see at the bottom of this, the very bottom where it says Seismic Commander, this is part of a set. So if you get all three pieces of that set, then you're going to increase damage towards enemies with bleeds on them by 50%. So keep your eye out for these set pieces. They're very rare, and so don't delete them or destroy them, and they can really be a big game changer. Another thing you want to be aware of is once you get into Worldslayer, which is the expansion pack, you're going to run into apocalyptic gear. Now, as you can see, this purple here has 3 different mods on it. So when you're playing just the standard game, you're only going to get 2 mods. When you get into the expansion pack, you'll be able to get 3 mods. One of the downsides of having 3 mods is they lock it, so you can't change that bottom mod. So whatever you get on that piece of gear, it's going to stay there, so with the purple background there. And you also will have apocalyptic gear for your browns and your set pieces as well. So make sure you keep an eye out for those set pieces, and hopefully eventually you'll get into the apocalyptic levels, which are a lot of fun, and the expansion pack is definitely worth playing. It was fun. Some other things about mods is you got your tier 1, your tier 2, and tier 3. And these aren't always going to look like this when you first start out. They're all going to have a padlock on them, just like this one. So as you progress through the game and you get more gear, if you see an item that has mods on it that you want that you don't have yet, and you can identify that by the grid in the top right corner, in the mid right corner there of the piece of gear. So if it doesn't have that grid, that means you don't have it in your inventory yet. So the way to get that into your inventory is you would simply right click it and then you would hit delete on your keyboard. So now then if I didn't have the mod that was on that piece of weapon, on that piece of gear, it would be over here now. So that's how you get it. There's no other way. You can't buy it or go to a vendor or anything else. You've got to get it on a drop, and then you've got to right click it and you've got to destroy the piece of gear with that mod on it. Another thing to watch out for is duplicates. So you can put on the same mod twice, but it's not going to have any effect. Why they did that, I don't know. They didn't do that for the weapons, they just locked it down. So you got to beware and make sure that you don't have the same mod on 2 different pieces of gear. Well, how do you do that? Well, when you look and you're wearing going through your gear, you can mouse over it. If you see those red double squares right there, that means you've got that mod on another piece of gear that you're wearing. So you want to make sure that you don't do that because you're just wasting a slot. So other things you want to look out for when you're actually going and checking out your mods is these are going to be class specific, all tier 1. So depending on what class you play, this is for Devastators, so they might look very 100% different than your class. When you get into tier 2, these are general cross-class mods, so you might see a lot of these as well. Tier 3, it's a half and half. So half of these are going to be class specific, half of these are going to be cross-class. So one of the ones that I like that are cross-class that does a lot of damage for me is tier 3 Shock and Awe. Other than my class-specific mods, that's one of the only ones that I make sure that I use. Whenever I get in trouble, it seems to always help me out and do a lot of damage. Every 8 seconds does 1,000,000 damage to a 10-meter radius. So if I'm getting swarmed and that thing goes off, does a ton of damage. Now the one thing I like about the class-specific ones is it not only adds damage or pulls armor off of other people, but it also allows you to use it multiple times in a row before it resets the cooldown. So on this character, I believe I've got it set to where my spikes that I do, which is my main damage, I can use it 3 times, and it actually affects a group of people. And the way I did that is instead of, I pretty much got almost all these tier 3 mods on my gear. It's right there. It can be used 2 more times. Right there. Can I hit 2 more targets? So now I'm hitting 2 more people. And then when people that are killed, so if I hit them, some of the small mobs with it, it creates more spikes around that person that would also hit. So if I'm in a swarm, this is just going to go nuts. Um, this one I don't use a lot. I tried it out. I didn't really like it. Creates like this little ball around someone I killed, and I can kind of hide in it. I run around way too much for that. This one right here, this was really a big upgrade. So enemies that were not killed by the skill are hit with a second spike after a half a second delay, dealing 50% of the damage. So that's instantly like a 50% upgrade in damage if you're fighting an elite. So the tier 3 mods are very, very powerful, just like the weapon ones. The tier 3 mods versus the tier 1 mods, some of these tier 1 mods for your class are okay, but especially on your weapons, you want to get down in here and do some research and find the right mods for your weapons. It's going to exponentially increase your damage. And then also for your classes on your gear, which yet again, these mods go on your gear, they do not go on your weapons, but they can affect your weapons. So I've got one class where I play it, and it actually has volcanic rounds, the pyromancer. So I'm able to hit that, and then my bullets that I shoot have like a fire effect on them. So there's different things that you can do. Like in here, I also have Golem, where that creates a protective shield around my body. So I have something, a little defense. I'm not all offense. And then I use Earthquake quite a bit. So with Earthquake, I set it so that you can use it multiple times, and it can extend its reach. That's another thing that I got with the spikes is I was able to expand its reach, so almost all the way across the map, I can hit somebody with it. So feel free to mix and match, do a little research, find something that really hits your playing style. And like I said, there's defensive ones, there's offensive ones, there's ones that affect your firepower. So really, depending on where you're at in game, if you're having problems staying alive or if you're having problems doing enough damage, just do some research and try to find the right mod that fits your class and also fits your gameplay style. So one last thing I want to do is I will actually bring out my inventory, and you can see the mods I'm using on my character. So this is my primary weapon. I'm using Ultimate Storm Whip, Nicola's Revenge, and Shadow Comet. These are all tier 3 mods for weapons, and I highly recommend them. And check out my video on modding your guns. As you see on this one, just like I had mentioned, I got shock and awe there on the bottom, and then I am very much set up class specific for my mods. On this one, I got 2 mods, class specific for my spike or my impale. Yet again, all class specific mods. I have this one here because it's actually part of a set. It's got earthquake on it and charged up. Charged up is alright, it helps me when I'm aiming down the sights. So I'm not real huge on doing weapon damage. I like using my anomaly power, but this is part of my set, so I couldn't break it. So as you see there, that's a seismic commander at the bottom. And then right there, that's another piece of my seismic commander set. And finally the helmet, the final piece of my seismic commander set. So this really, really increases my damage, and I put bleeds on everybody, so that really helps me out. Then down here, I was really, really happy to get this one, a piece of apocalyptic gear. It had the right impale down on the bottom and also another one on it. So I just modded it and added the shredder. So as you can see, I'm pretty well all decked out for anomaly destruction. So that's my build pretty much. Leave some questions and comments if you have anything down in the comment section, and I'll try to answer it as well as I can. And also, if you have any ideas that I didn't think of, please post them, and look forward to reading your comments. Please hit that like and subscribe button, and this is Storm Ranger Gamer signing out. Bye.